No, this isn't the same Xbox as last week. This is another silly purchase that I've bought from eBay. I paid a grand total of £180 for this Xbox, and the listing on eBay states won't power on, don't know the fault, stop working all of a sudden, it doesn't come with any wires or controllers, has been opened, all parts are correct and complete, including a 1TB SSD. Now I know this sounds a little bit silly, but if somebody's going to the extent to say that it has the 1TB SSD, in my head, they kind of know what they're talking about. The idea of this video is to either try and fix this Xbox or at least use the parts from this Xbox to fix the other Xbox Series X that I have from last week. I just want one working Xbox. First things first, let's test and make sure that we definitely have no power. I don't hear any crackle or pop when I go to put the power cable in. So what happens when we press the power button? Nothing, nada. Okay, it could be a power supply issue with this Xbox, meaning I might just be able to take the power supply out of the other Xbox and put it in here and it might work. Can you imagine? That would be extremely lucky, but luck is what I need at the moment. I'm gonna start taking it apart to fault find now. So let's have a look and see what's going on with this Xbox. And like they said, it's been opened before. You've got the sticker here, which has a hole in. You've also got the sticky bit down here, which is also missing to access this screw as well. First signs are actually pretty good. It looks like they've put all the cables back as they should. The fan's connected and the disk drive is nice and secure. So far, so good. We do have two missing screws, one here and one just here. Now I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I've got my multimeter here. I'm gonna plug in the power here. I get like a crackle. First off, we should be getting 12 volts on this little pin connected down here, and we get 0.00 or 0.0. And the second place to test, I believe, is down here on this connector. Nothing. I wonder if it is just a bad power supply then. If only I had a power supply from another Xbox Series X, which I do, because I failed last week. And it upsets me, and has done every single night. Let me try the power supply from this one and see if we get any luck doing that. Still going to leave me the issue with the other Xbox Series X and the fact that I don't have a 1TB 2230 NVMe SSD. But if I can get one working, that'll be a win. This is the power supply from the other console. So if I plug this in now, if I can just grow another finger here and here, we have 12 volts or 11.79. So I'm going to plug this into the faulty Xbox Series X and we're going to see what happens. Okay, moment of truth. Hopefully we don't get any sparks or anything. Power button's down here. Press it in 3, 2, 1. Ah, still nothing. And I've definitely got the ribbon cable in the correct way. So am I now not getting 12 volts? No. So maybe the other power supply is good. Just when you put it on the board, it's not good. So if I just unplug that and unplug this, but then plug this back in and just test on here, we get 12 volts. So maybe when we're putting the power supply onto the board or connecting it up to the board, something is killing the 12 volts, which is very strange. Oh, okay. I did just get power for a very brief second. So when I connect this now to this board, just down here, and now plug it in, I don't get power? No. So I think we have a short coming from the board underneath. What about if I disconnect this one, just to confirm? If I disconnect that one, no, so it's definitely the board underneath. Unless you have to have this one and that's what powers it on, it then carries the current through to the second board. I don't really know. So I guess the thing to test right now would be to make sure that we have two good power supplies. Here's one power supply. Do we get 12 volts? Yes, we do. We get 12 volts on this one. Do we get 12 volts? Yes, we do. Okay, so the power supplies are both fine. My initial thought of a power supply being faulty is completely wrong, and now it's something on the board. Interesting. So the next step, I believe, if I zoom in, just see if I can squeeze the meter in just down the bottom here. This power connector here, if I put a black probe on ground, we're in continuity mode at the moment, which is the mode that beeps when we have a complete circuit. If I test one of the probes on the left, we have a short. It looks like we have a short. The multimeter's doing a madness at the moment, but it's definitely a short. And then if we go to the right, we also have a short. Just to make sure it's not a fluke of some sort, I'm just going to change pins. So I put it here, there we go. And then if I move over, we have a short. So I think we have a short on the 12 volt rail. And again, I don't think this board is our issue. So let's get down to the other board. Just going to remove this because it might be in the way a little bit. Let's take the heatsink off. And just loosen this board from the other side. That looks like fresh thermal paste, by the way, so I think somebody's definitely been in here already. And if you've gotten this far, you're probably trying to diagnose what's going on, right? Get the old earbuds out and give this a nice clean. There we go, that's a lot cleaner. And let's have a bit of an inspection and see what's going on. I've moved on over to the microscope and I've found a few little things just worth mentioning. Here we have the 10-pin connector that, again, is that wobbly? No, it's just me. That again, if I go onto here, we have a short, and here we have a short. I'm not too sure which side is positive, but I'm pretty sure this is it says V12, so I'm gonna go, and it says TP, I think. So I'm assuming this is a test point for 12 volts. And again, if I just put my meter into continuity mode, and this is the red probe, you can see that we have a short. We have aluminium caps here as well, and this side should be negative because of the red. I'm pretty sure this is negative. And then you can see on the board layout here, we have the plus sign to show this is the positive. This is also shorted. We have the same story for every single aluminium cap down on this rail. So there is a 12 volt short. It's just finding what is causing that 12 volt short. Rule of thumb, I'm gonna do a visual inspection first, and I'll speed this up for you, but I'm just gonna have a look through the scope and see if I can see anything that stands out. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I can't see anything that looks wrong with this board, like at all. It seems to be okay, and I would have thought that a short on the 12 volt line would have caused a little bit of damage somewhere at least. So now let's move on to the next bit of troubleshooting. I decided for this to switch over to my FLIR cam, and I started with voltage injection of 12 volts and 1 amp, and this is what I was getting. I was getting a tiny heat spot on the side of the board. I flipped the board over to see if I could find that heat spot, and it disappeared. I then decided to up the amperage. I think I put it up to 5 amps in the end. So I had 12 volts, 5 amps, and this happened. It was like staring at me right in the face. The power of the sun in the palm of my hands. But it was coming from the other side of the board. But as you can see, we've definitely found what's causing this short. Supposedly on the heat cam, we're getting hot around here, but I don't know if it's this side or the other side. I think it's on the other side. It's around about here somewhere. Judging from where the heat spot is coming from, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's this little, I don't know what it is, this little chip here. It could be one to the south or one to the north, but I'm going to go with this one, which means we're going to mark it with our sharp A. Should probably just do it there. Let's take this component off the board and see if the short's gone. I highly doubt it, but it's a place to start. That took a while. These Series X boards are really, really thick, hence why it probably took such a long time. Okay, long shot, but let's see if our short's gone. All right, I'll test on one of the aluminium capacitors first to see if it's gone there. Where are they? Over here. Again, this is the plus side, and we don't want to hear a beep like this on the multimeter. If we don't hear a beep, it means that the short is gone. Okay, no beep. Hold on a second. What about here? Okay, all right. What about the actual connector itself? Here, this is where I was injecting voltage. This is the positive side. No short, let's go. So we got rid of it. Okay, yeah, look. So that's ground, that's positive. Negative, positive, no short. Now all I need to do is steal a component from the other board that I have, which means I will be breaking that Xbox Series X, but it will be good to find out if that is what fixes this one. It means I'll have a fully working one, and I'll just have to get these chips in for the other one and that SSD that I've been waiting for a very long time. I thought this would be the solution for the SSD without having to completely mess that one up. That's a result, and a much better fix than I intended. I do need to quickly make this a little bit more presentable, I think. I need to add some leaded solder onto these pads, because these pads down here look like they don't have any solder on whatsoever. And these pads here are ground, and I think they're meant to be ground, these two in the middle. These components here before were shorted. I was testing both sides of these and they were shorted, whereas this one is now not shorted. And the whole rail up isn't shorted on this side. So I'm assuming these two are ground pads. This pad plays some sort of importance, but as you can see, this side is meant to be ground. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm just waffling at the moment because I'm so ridiculously happy. Let's tin this pad. Also need to disassemble this Xbox to get to the chip that we need to get. Just to clarify, this Xbox isn't currently working. If you want to see the video for this Xbox Series X, I'll leave a card in the top right hand corner of your screen. Now go check that out. Get some flux on there, on all aspects of it. Nice. Make sure we at least get the leaded on the pads. Lowers that melting temperature as well. Do us a big favour. Doesn't matter if these are joined up because they're all on the same pad, as you can see. These ones aren't. That's fine. Get some leaded on there, leaded on there. Leaded there, a little bit there, a little bit on here if we can. Just want to add a tiny bit. No. I didn't want that much. That's the one thing I didn't want to happen. It doesn't really matter because when you heat it up anyway, it usually clears any bridges that you have. I just want to take a little bit off. There we go. Just to make sure there's no important bridges or anything that we can see. Everything looks to be okay. Perfect. Nice. Now we grab the chip from the other board. Taking the chip on. Get it into place. Come off. And then going to apply some flux. And now just blast it with more. There we go. I don't think I need to push down and hold it down because of the way that the pin is struck underneath. I think it's going to be okay. As you can see, it sits in line with the other pins. You can tell by pin 1, which is up here, is exactly the same on the others. Need to get rid of that little solder ball here. First, let's quickly clean. Okay, I'm going to test on here. No short. Okay, good. We had a beep on these caps on both sides before. We don't have that now, so that's really, really good. Let's get rid of that. Okay, you just want to stay there. That's fine. Yeah, you can stay there. You have to pay rent though. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a test, shall we? And see if we've managed to fix this Xbox Series X. Brand new thermal pasta. Big pea-sized blob. Now in typical Joey fashion, I think it would make sense to plug this in, measure the voltage to make sure we're getting 12 volts, and then try and power it on for suspense. So do we get any smoke, anything? No smoke, which is always a great sign. Do we get 12 volts on the multimeter with the stuff that we need plugged in? This is the moment of truth. Nervous. Yes, we do. Okay, we get 12 volts. Okay, sweet. Just gonna unplug it gently and slowly. Now, we plug in power cable, just like so. Sorry, not the power cable, the on button. We give it a go and we try and turn it on. Hopefully nothing blows up. 3, 2, 1. We get power? Yeah, and it stays on, sick. Okay, right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm turning it off. Okay, that's the first thing. And it doesn't turn off instantly either, so that's really, really good. I'm gonna disconnect the power. I'm gonna put it all back together, and then we're gonna give it a HDMI test to make sure that we get output on the screen and to make sure that everything else works, because we could have other issues with this Xbox. But that's wicked, come on, that's a result. The Xbox is now all back together and it's not actually in bad condition cosmetic wise. Let's switch over to the game scene, put the webcam on. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we get the light, that's wicked. The light is on, the Xbox light is on, it's staying on. Do we get a display, please? Anything. Let's go. Absolutely buzzing. Still signed in to the person who obviously sold it as well. Wow. I am extremely happy. The real question out of all of this is, do we have a disc? No. That sucks. He's here, it's your boy. There it is. Okay, and as you can see, the Xbox Series X works perfectly. The disk drive works, Wi-Fi works, everything works fine with it. I can't believe I've managed to fix this Series X. Remember to check out the other Xbox Series X video that I have up here. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Let's go.